Today on Chainlink Labs developer advocate Patrick Collins gives you every reason to start and finish the free CodeCamp Solidity, Blockchain, and Smart Contracts course. We get into why it's the best resource for any aspiring developer and how to approach the course with a growth mindset. Patrick even calls me out on imposter syndrome and encourages me to take on a new challenge. It's coming up right now. Chainlinked is a Web3 podcast series talking to the builders in the Chainlink ecosystem. We get to know the human side of the people bringing the many applications of Chainlink blockchain oracles to life across global enterprise, the blockchain industry, and more. My name is Dr. Andy Boyan. You can call me Andy, and I'll be your host. Welcome to the show, Patrick. I'm really glad to have you on. Talk a little bit about this awesome video tutorial that you had. Tell everybody a little bit about who you are just first.
Yeah, for sure. Hi, everybody. Glad to be chatting with you on the podcast here.
Glad to be heard, right?
Glad to be heard. That's what's up. My name is Patrick Collins. I am a developer advocate on the Chainlink project, and I'm a lover of the Web3 blockchain smart contract world. I love everything about this space. It's an absolute blast for me to make content and help people build the future and do all this amazing stuff in this space. And I love being able to give back and enable people to just become super versions of themselves.
You're like a favorite in the Chainlink community for developer relations because of your enthusiasm. Like your YouTube channel and your tutorials, like the one we're talking about today, have had a ton of support because you make people feel like they can do things, feel motivated. So that's just something I've noticed and really appreciate.
Well, the thing is, once you get into it, it's really not that, well, all right, so I'm going to say this, but obviously take this with a grain of salt. I'm going to say it's really not that hard. But the reason that I say that, though, is because I do think there's traditionally around software engineering, there can be this air of elitism. And I think the blockchain world is one of these great spaces where right now there still is some of that, but it's a lot less, right? Because we're all learning, we're all new. Anybody who's oh yeah, I've been doing this for years. It's all right, well, you probably haven't been doing this for more than 3 years or even, the max you can really be doing this is 5 years, right? And so it's hard to have that old stilted elitist view. But yeah, I really think anybody can get in and anybody can really, become one of the pioneers of this groundbreaking technology. So I'm humbled. I'm flattered to hear that because honestly, I think anybody can. And I'm just trying to do my part to brighten up what seems like a dark, scary world and say, hey guys, it's really not that dark or scary. Anybody can jump in and anybody can start.
Not only is it not that dark or scary, you've got people like Patrick shining light where it needs to be shown. And the industry is still young enough that literally every person makes a major difference. You personally, the person listening to this, can find a bug in code, even at a relatively beginner level, and make a major difference in projects and security of the ecosystem and do things. So it's really inspiring to me. I'm always ready to run through brick walls when I hang out and talk to you, Patrick.
Excellent. All right. Well, whenever we meet up in person, maybe we'll have a brick wall running through competition.
No, we're going to have a breakdance competition, I believe. You're a B-boy, I'm pop and lock, right?
Yeah, excellent.
We want to talk about FreeCodeCamp and this tutorial that you put out. For me, from wherever we are in time, it was a couple of weeks ago. It's got a ton of views. It is, just this massive resource that people are running to learn more about smart contract development and Solidity. Tell us a little bit about this. Is this the beginning? Is this the cornerstone for somebody if they really want to start learning Solidity?
So, not to hype it up too much, but it has literally everything you need to get started. Although that's about as hype as it can get. So the FreeCodeCamp video is a literally end-to-end everything. It's literally a Patrick brain dump of having worked in this industry for a few years jam-packed into one 16-hour video. 16 hours seems like a really long time. But yeah, if you break it down to a little bite-sized 20-minute segments, you can be an expert in a month, right? In less than that. So this is the Pythonic version. So for those of you engineers who are listening, yes. So to do your smart contracts, you do need to deploy them and write them in Solidity or Viper or what have you. But a lot of the tooling and the developing and the testing and all these other pieces are usually written in a more traditional programming language, like Python, like JavaScript. So the first, I think, 5 or 6 hours of this video is core blockchain, core Solidity, core tooling, everything you need to know to get started. And then after that, it goes into just more and more advanced features that you can do with some of this additional tooling. And this one in particular is Pythonic. So this one's around the Brownie framework, which is incredibly powerful, really, really powerful tool. And I absolutely love Python for developing smart contracts in this space. So yeah, I would say this has literally everything you need. I have it on my to-do list to do a JavaScript edition of this as well, but I don't want to make any promises.
Well, let's scoot back a little bit. Like, I know how to open terminal.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
You can do this now. You have all the prerequisites.
In the past, when I've tried to do some coding boot camps or like basic stuff, I can do the first few lessons and then like I need a package update and I don't know how to do that, or it doesn't work right somehow. And I kind of get lost in where my folders are and stuff like that. Is there some basic stuff that I should, and people like me should do beforehand, really getting down my syntax for terminal or command line or things before this? Or is there stuff that I can copy paste and really follow along?
Yeah, this is a fantastic question. And this is something that I remember when I was, starting to learn comp sci, this is something I was always frustrated with. And this is why, in particular, you'll always hear me joke about how much I hate JavaScript. And it's because I always felt like they would do something on screen, I would do the same thing, and then it wouldn't work, and then I would lose my mind, right? So I would say probably the hardest part of this whole course is doing that, which is great because so many people have done that and there's so much support for that. If you jump into this course with zero coding experience and just follow along with exactly as I do, that's perfect. So you don't have to have any coding experience at all. It's nice if you have a little bit of object-oriented programming experience, like if you've done some Python, if you've done some JavaScript, that'll definitely help. But if you follow along, you're absolutely you're golden there. And the best part is, if you do get stuck, we have a GitHub repository with a discussion thread where I think if we jump on it, there's something like 100 or 200 questions on there. I've jumped in, other community members have jumped in. So if you get stuck with any of those basic things, just jump into the GitHub discussion, ask your question, and somebody will probably help you out and unblock you there. So you can have any level of experience here. We go over how to do all the things that some other tutorials just assume people know how to do. So hey, all you got to do is this npm install thing, and then it's wait, what the hell is npm? That doesn't happen. We walk you through installing Python packages, working with Solidity, working with Remix. And if you do get stuck, ask in that GitHub, let me know, and then I'll make some improvements. We have this long README which says, hey, here's all the steps you need to take, here's everything you need to do, and I can just add to that README. And it's just this supplementary written content that you can follow along with the video. So you additionally have that other piece to kind of bounce thoughts off of.
Well, and realistically, when I talk to developers, they joke around often about saying that they're professional Googlers. That's what developers do, is they get stuck. Yes. And then real developers, professionally, figure out how do you get unstuck. Yes. and that process. So honestly, that's kind of part of the process, is go to that README and look for your problem and see if other people have it and interact with them.
Yeah. And Andy, that's a great point, and especially in this space. So what I was kind of trying to do, setting up this video, was teaching people along the way to empower themselves to, okay, if they get stuck, how to unblock themselves. And it's going to be doing that professional Googling. It's going to be jumping on Stack Overflow, Stack Exchange Ethereum, jumping to the GitHub discussions, especially again in this space where the knowledge is kind of a little bit more sporadic and there's not as many people who know the answer to your specific question. Becoming a professional Googler is absolutely essential here. And joining the community just 10x your developing skills, right? If you have a group or some people that that you can kind of sync with on stuff, that's going to 10x where you are. So absolutely.
I can't help but compare learning to be a developer to learning to cook. When you look up online, you get a recipe and it calls for 10 ingredients and you only have 8 of them. A novice cook says, well, I can't make this. But I've been cooking for years. Secretly, I'm kind of a pretty good cook. But if I have 8, I'm good. I know my way around that, and I can Google around and I can figure out, what goes on. But for somebody who's just beginning, there is a recipe that you can follow. But once you actually get into it, there's a little bit of more flexibility that goes around, and it just takes a while to learn that eventually. Does this ingredient go with that ingredient? How do you account for that? Anyways, that's a little tangent.
So we're gonna smash some bricks. We're gonna b-boy. We're gonna do a little dance
I
off,
will cook for you, my friend.
and then I was gonna say I'm not entering that challenge. So if you want to cook for me, that sounds great.
Dude, that's one of my favorite things. I love cooking for people. Breakfast is my jam, and people are like,
Really?
"All right, breakfast, fine, whatever. You're not a real cook." Oh no, man, I do it right.
Oh, if I were to order a burger at this breakfast jam competition, would I be considered, lesser? Should I not do that? I love having burgers for breakfast.
No, we'll do a burger, do a little fried egg on there with some hollandaise sauce, a
Oh,
little avocado on the side. You don't want it on there because you get a lot of the same textures, but on the side, that can be a nice little thing. All right. We're gonna.
yeah. Free code camp Solidity. Yeah, not delicious avocado burgers.
Okay, so for beginners, they can start. There is that recipe you can follow along very closely
Yes.
until you kind of get your wheels going. What are some of the topics? Like, what are the things that you're doing? Like, what are you learning how to do? What are some of those really concrete outcomes that people are going to be able to do?
Yeah, I kind of just want to pull up the repo here because
Do it.
so the video, like I literally show you step by step how to do everything, and then the repo has all the code, it has all the links to all the stuff, all the extra readings and stuff, and everything's kind of in there. Yeah, like literally, if you go through this, and this isn't hyperbole. If you go through this, in my mind, and you're successful and you understand the content, in my mind, like you're in the top percentage of blockchain developers and like you should be able to join a protocol, do very decently in a hackathon, or like build your own new protocol. And so that's kind of the general outcome of this, and you could start applying and et cetera. But some of the more tangible pieces here, if you've never deployed a smart contract before, you're going to deploy your first smart contract within the first few hours of it, right? You're going to understand the core concept of like what is proof of work. You're going to learn like cryptography, which is absolutely wild that you learn like a little bit of cryptography. You're going to make your first transaction. If you've never done anything with MetaMask, if you're like, what is a blockchain wallet? You're going to learn about that. Deploy your first smart contract. You're going to learn some incredibly powerful architectural patterns, including what's called a factory pattern. You're going to learn how to send money in your smart contracts and deploy them. You're going to learn how to write tooling. Now I'm getting excited. Write tooling in Web3.py, in Brownie, in Python. You're going to learn how to build your own programmatically rare NFTs. So you learn how to do NFTs, which is great, but then you'll also learn how to make those NFTs do stuff. Like maybe you wanted to make an NFT that battle each other, that do a game, or that have some type of value outside of just their images. You're going to learn how to do simple DeFi protocols. So you learn how to build your own staking application. Like if you want somebody to stake some governance token into your protocol, we have something for you. So this course is very learning through projects. So we take like real world ideas, turn them into projects, and each project is incrementally more advanced than the last one. And so you just learn more and more. And yeah, you'll learn how to do your own ERC20, your own token. You'll learn how to work with DeFi protocols, like Aave. So maybe you don't even want to build your own DeFi protocol. Maybe you just want to use ones that already exist. NFTs, upgradable smart contracts, which is like a crazy advanced concept. And we're giving it to you, in this course. And then at the end of the course, we do like a full stack example where you get a website, you get a user interface on top of your smart contracts and everything. So yeah, there's a lot. there's a lot that you learn in this video.
There's a couple of things I want to pull out of that. One is this is not just 16 hours of a video. There's a freeCodeCamp resource that you guys have documented. There's this GitHub. There's all this other follow along material for people to copy paste and like learn the syntax and read along as well.
Yeah, so in the smart contract kit, that GitHub organization, that's the one that created the Chainlink repo. It currently has 1.8 thousand stars, which is like right below the Chainlink repository itself at like 2.3 thousand. So yeah, it's a massive, massive file with all the code, all the supplementary information.
I've been in the space for a while and I know DeFi, I know NFTs, but I do not know how to evaluate a smart contract myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I've sort of found some of those, hey, look for these exploits and things like that. But like, I don't really know how to read any of that stuff. Is this what I need, Patrick? Do I really need to go through this and know, like, if I interact with it, then I'll know what to look for and how to understand these things?
Basically, yes. We did leave a link at the bottom to just a couple fantastic sources on like learning about exploits and whatnot. But yeah, if you go through this, you can look at a Solidity smart contract and know right away, okay, this is exactly what this is doing. Here's maybe some of the things that I don't want to do. Here are the points of centralization in this smart contract. And yeah, right away you'll be able to kind of analyze a smart contract.
I feel like I need to make a video series where I do this.
Oh my gosh, Andy, that would be so sick.
Because I'm a dum-dum, Patrick, and you'll be able to hear like live where Andy gets stuck, and then you'll be like, man, I never thought somebody would get stuck on that.
That actually, what you just said right there, I think is important. And I know it's a joke though, but I think it's important to touch on because there's this huge concept of imposter syndrome. And that's something that I've been trying really hard to fight against. Like everyone thinks, oh, like I'm new to the space, I don't really belong here. Like the instant you click play on this video, the instant you open up the Remix interface, you're welcome. You're a part of the community. And anything that you think, oh, like I'm an idiot, I can't believe I didn't get this. I promise 1,000 other people ran into that same issue. At least I absolutely promise.
Look at imposter syndrome rear its head. I have a doctoral degree. Like I am literally a PhD. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm a real dum-dum. I can't do this right. That's exactly what that is imposter syndrome is like, no, I'm going to get stuck. Everybody's going to get stuck. That's part of it. And pushing through that is the secret. Thank you for calling me out on that, man.
No, it's just so prevalent, right? And and I say all the time, like kind of jokingly too, I'll say like the only reason that I'm good at what I do is because I'm an idiot. And if I can understand it, then I should be able to teach somebody else, right? Because I can dumb it down to really, really, really basic levels. But yeah, like absolutely don't be afraid. You'll get stuck on something, you'll ask questions, and you'll eventually get unblocked. And something that you might think is like, oh, this was so stupid, I can't believe I got stuck on it. I promise 100,000 other people, got stuck on it. Something else I do want to say too, on taking, especially something as long as this, don't go into it thinking like, oh man, I'm going to watch 16 hours straight and boom, at the end, I'm going to be an absolute wizard. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to have, it's probably, more likely that watching, 25 minutes at a time is really going to be the best strategy. If you try to watch 16 hours straight, I promise you're going to get out, the other end, not having remembered anything.
Right.
We had somebody who took the course. She was doing great, actually. She was doing really well. I was super impressed with her progress. She commented in the discussion thread. She goes, hey, I'm super frustrated. I don't know what's going on. I've done this, and this, and this. And now I feel like I'm like a little bit stuck. Is it always this hard? And that was kind of the conversation. I was like, what do you mean is it always this hard? You've been taking this course for a week. You're already like deploying more advanced smart contracts than half the other Solidity developers in this space. You're doing awesome. Like you're doing so well. And she's like, wait, oh my gosh, yeah. Like I'm halfway through this course. I've learned so much. It kind of like sneaks up on you, like how much you've learned. And you're going to get stuck, right? You're going to get blocked by things. And that's just all part of it. I had a conversation with somebody the other day. They were like, oh, like I'm so frustrated. I don't know why this works. And then I said, oh, well, did you hit save? And they were like, oh my God, I just spent 10 hours, and all I need to do is hit save. It's like stuff like that happens, right? And that's okay. Don't let that stop you because it's okay. We all make mistakes.
It also reminds me, when it comes to learning anything, there are these peaks and plateaus of information acquisition and application. If you're learning a musical instrument, the first couple of lessons, it's like you're a super genius. You can do this now. Like you get the basics. And then there's a really, hard plateau that most people never get past is because like you don't feel like you're getting better for a while. Or learning a language, it's the exact same thing. Cooking, again, same thing. That's true for almost everything in existence. That's because that's the way humans learn. It's not about you as an individual. It's about us as a species. Patrick, give us some takeaway. Like, we got to go to freeCodeCamp. We got to get started on this, at least the first few minutes, and build a schedule. What else should we follow to kind of help us on our smart contract developer journey?
Oh man, there's so many resources. That freeCodeCamp GitHub repository has a ton in there as well. There's a ton of people in the space who are doing amazing work helping people get onboarded. Just to name a couple off the top of my head: Dapp University, Ivan on Tech, Eat the Blocks, Nader Dabbits, Wesley, Sam Richards. There's just a ton of people who are just dropping like smart contract knowledge bombs all the time. Open Zeppelin has a amazing security focused series where they just have, talks. And then of course, Chainlink blogs, Chainlink YouTube videos, Chainlink docs, the amount of stuff that like the Chainlink Labs team puts out is just insane. The amount of like, just, hey, take this code, have fun, have a blast. Is absolutely insane. And then, of course, I gotta plug the Chainlink Hackathon.
By the time this comes out, it'll be near the end of the hackathon, just as a heads up.
Well, there will be more. I gotta plug the Chainlink Hackathon strip or suite, I guess I'll say. Just anytime you're like, all right, I'm ready to go to a hackathon, take your idea and make it real, because you'll network with amazing people in the space. You'll really have a chance to challenge yourself and overcome new obstacles and really like see like outside of what's called like the tutorial zone. You'll get outside the tutorial zone and you'll do your own thing. So definitely go to a hackathon. If you subscribe to the Chainlink newsletter, we always put out kind of the latest and greatest in hackathon. So
I mean, one of the things about the most recent hackathon, the fall 2021, is there are workshops and tutorials that live on YouTube forever.
Yes.
That you can just go back. You can relive the hackathon on your own time as well. So not only are you have this freeCodeCamp resource, but you can kind of join in a lot of those other resources as well. Patrick, we're running up on time. So where can we follow you and make sure we stay up with your adventures? We didn't even get to talk about your tattoo. I'm sorry. I'm going to have you back on and we'll hang out. But where can we follow you?
Works for me. Yeah, we'll have to have a longer session. Follow me on Twitter. I'm at Patrick Alpha C. Follow me on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Medium as well. But if you follow me on Twitter, that's I'll post pretty much everything there.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you so much, Andy.
I love talking to Patrick. It's always an energetic time, and I feel motivated to tackle my new ideas and projects. And I hope you feel the same way. Go to the course using the link in the description. It's already got hundreds of thousands of views, and it's ready for you. Will I do the camp? Maybe. It sounds like a fun video series, and maybe people will join me and code along. So I'll explore that as a future web series. Stay tuned. Now, help me grow the Chainlinked podcast and give more projects a voice to speak to the Chainlink community and beyond. Rate and review on Apple Podcasts or whatever your favorite podcasting app is, and make sure to follow Chainlinked on Spotify as well. Follow me on Twitter at Andy Boyan and share this episode with your friends who need to get a deeper insight into Web3 and maybe kickstart their journey into developer. Also, follow Chainlink Today on Twitter at Chainlink Today and read more about the stories behind some of the industry's top projects. While you're join the Chainlink communities. Find other Web3 explorers in the Chainlink Telegram and Discord chats. Thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you next time.